إنا أنزلناه قرآنا عربيا لعلكم تعقلون.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه كما يحب ربنا ويرضاه. This is lesson 3 of phase 2 in this series, the basics of Arabic reading and writing. Last lesson we discussed the huruf al-khamsa and we explained that these 5 letters, which were ba, ta, tha, noon and ya, we explained that these 5 letters are written in exactly the same way when they appear at the beginning as well as the middle of a word. It's only at the end when there's a difference. Hopefully, inshallah, that was understood. Let's go over the homework, inshallah, the homework that we gave towards the end of last lesson. The first one was to join alif, ba, ta and ya. This was homework number 1, to join these 4 letters. طيب, I'm going to do it here. So alif, I would write it like this, obviously. It's a high-rise letter. And then ba here, even though ba is in the middle of this word, so imagine this is a word, even though ba is in the middle of this word, it takes the same ruling as though it's at the start of the word. So we're not going to, remember we took ba at the beginning looks like this, ba in the middle looks like this, and ba at the end looks like this. So because ba is in the middle, we don't say that we're going to use this. Yeah, we don't use this even though ba is in the middle, because ba is in the middle of this word, right? Whenever there's one of those 6 letters, you see these 6 letters that never join? Those 6 letters that never join, alif, dal, dhal, ra, za, and waw. Whenever we have one of these 6 letters and then there's another letter that comes after it, even though it's in the middle of the word, that letter that comes after it takes the same ruling as though it's in the beginning of the word. It's like we've started the word again. So we're going to use this. طيب. So we don't use this because this is not a letter which joins with the letter after it. I have to leave a gap. So if I'm going to start again, I have to use ba as though it's in the start of a word. So I would use this form of ba. Okay? So I would use this form of ba, and the dot goes under the sinnah as we mentioned. طيب. Then ta. Okay, now I can use ta or the huruf al-khams, how they appear in the middle. So I would use this. And the dots go on top of the sinnah in this case. Then the next letter is ya. Ya goes under the line. So I would do this. This is how we'd write it. There's another way we could write it, and the difference is here. Okay. Alif, ba. Instead of doing ta like this, I could use this, open this up like this, and use that as a ta. This could be a ta. طيب. So ba, ta, and the ya in this case would join like this. So you have 2 ways. If you did this or this, then that was right. Okay, the next one was to join ba, ta, or is it ya? No. Ba, ya, and ta. Ba, ya, and ta. How would you join ba, ya, and ta? Well, ba, we just mentioned at the beginning, comes like this. طيب. Ya, from the huruf al-khamsa, in the middle, it would come like that. And then ta in the end, said that we just use the individual letter, how it's written, and we open it up. So it remains on the line. So that's ba, ya, and ta. Towards the end of last lesson, I mentioned a rule. That's if there's 3 or more consecutive huruf al-khamsa next to each other, then we have to raise one of them so that it's different. It looks different to seen. So in this case here, because there's 3, we raise the middle one. So we'll do it like this. So this is how it's written. This is more correct than writing like this. But this is just Because we're beginners, this is la bas, but it should be written like this to make it look different from seen. Number 3 was to join ya, ta, tha, ba, and ta. طيب, so we have 5 حروف الخمسة which are following on from one another. Ya at the beginning, or حروف الخمسة at the beginning. طيب, the dot goes there. Then ta, because there's 5, we're going to raise the middle one. Okay, so ta, and then tha, we raise it, and then ba, and then ta. Tha, ba, ta. Notice how the dots, when they're in the middle, they go under the sunnah on top of the sunnah, as we explained last time. The final one was to join ra, ba, noon, and alif. Ra is a drop down letter, so I start from here. Ba, I have to start from the beginning because this doesn't join, so I'll do ba as though it's at the beginning of the word. Then noon is from the huruf al-khamsa. Then alif. To do alif here, because it's joining from the letter before, I don't start from the top. I start from here and then go up. طيب, ra, ba, noon, alif. This was the final homework. Okay, so let's begin today's class. In today's class, we are going to speak about 3 letter forms. 3 letter forms. However, these 3 letter forms, they represent a total of 7 different letters. 3 letter forms, but they represent 7 different letters, as we're going to clarify now, inshallah. The first form is this. This form represents 3 letters. It represents jim, or ha without any dots, or kha with a dot at the top. So this is the first form we're taking, and this represents 3 letters. Jim, ha, and kha. Okay, how does this letter look like when it's at the beginning? When it's at the beginning, we just take the head. We take the head and tilt it slightly. So instead of going straight here, it goes downwards slightly. So like this. Yeah? Like that. Once we get there, we go to the middle and then we split. We go back to the middle and then we split. This is how it looks like in the beginning. Jim, ha, and kha. So the only difference is the dots. So jim, ha without any dots, kha with 1 dot at the top. This is in the beginning. In the middle, we do this. So this is the joining line. The joining line, we have to put a chair for it, for the next one. So we lift it up slightly here, so that this one can rest on it. And this one looks exactly the same, as you can see. Yeah? So we just lift it up here, so that this can sit on it. This is how it looks like in the middle. So exactly the same, except that it's sitting on something. Jim, ha, or kha. When it comes in the end, also we're going to do the same thing, where we put a chair for it to sit on. The only difference is that at the end, we use the individual form, where it goes under the line. طيب, so this is jim, ha, or kha. طيب, this is the first form, and this is how they look like when they are in the beginning, middle, and end. Jim, ha, and kha. So if you wanted to make it into a jim, we'll do this. Put the dot here, the dot here, and the dot goes here in the middle. If you wanted to make it a ha, we take off the dots. And to make it a kha, we put the dot here in the middle. طيب, I hope that's understood. The next letter, or the next form, is this. And this form represents two letters, Seen and Sheen. How does Seen and Sheen look like when they're in the beginning of the word? When they're at the beginning of the word, we just take this part, and do an extended line. So at the beginning they look like this. Okay? So instead of going down, we go like this. This is Seen and Sheen. And notice how this part is slightly wider than this part. Okay? So we do that, like that, then like that. That could be Seen or Sheen. Put dots and it's Sheen. In the middle, it looks exactly the same. Let me do it with a different pen. Okay, so that's the joining line. In the middle. So we do that. Yeah, exactly the same. In the end, it goes down. So we use the individual letter form, and then we go down. So that's the joining line. And then here we go down. It looks exactly the same as that. So this is Seen or Sheen, Seen or Sheen, Seen or Sheen. Beginning, middle, end. The next letter is the ending, looks exactly the same as that. This form represents Sad or Dad. So we have this form represents 3 letters. This form represents 2 letters. That's 5. This form represents 2 letters. That's 7. So we're taking 7 letters in total using these 3 letter forms. Sad and Dad in the beginning. We start from here. We go up. Same thing as that. Okay. Most important part is this part. Here we do this and then we continue. We have to do this extra sinna here. We have to leave a sinna, and then the Sad and Dad is complete. Okay. Then we mentioned that when Sad and Dad are in the beginning, they have this trailing line. Yeah, this trailing line, you can just add it now, like this, or you can add it at the beginning, doesn't matter. You can do it like this. So you can do this part, start from here, go up and like that, and then do this trailing line, like that when it's in the beginning, and when it's in the middle, it has this trailing line. But when it's in the end, or when it's written individually, it doesn't have this trailing line. This is Sad and Dad in the beginning. The dot for Dad would go here. The dot for Sheen would go like this. Same thing. For Dad, you just place it here. Okay, that's Sad and Dad in the beginning. Sad and Dad in the middle now. In order to do Sad and Dad in the middle, we have to extend the joining line. Yeah, we extend the joining line slightly. Then we start from here. And then it rests on the joining line and it follows it on. Follows it on, and then we have to finish off with the same thing here. Once we do that, the Sad and Dad is complete. That's how it will look like in the middle. And then we do that trailing line. Okay, in the end now. In the end, it's going to look like this. So we follow the joining line, open it up slightly, and then we do this, and then we go under. And this is always lower than this. It's always lower than this. Same like the Noon. Okay, so this is Sad in the beginning, or Dad. Sad or Dad in the middle, Sad or Dad in the end. I hope this understood. For homework, I want 1 row of this. This you're going to do it Jim. This is going to be Ha, and this is going to be Kha. So 1 row of this, however many you can fit in 1 line. This is for homework number 1. Homework number 2 is this one, 1 row of this. The middle one is Sheen. So Seen, Sheen, Seen. and one row of this. The middle one is dad. So sad, dad, sad. One row of this, one row of this, one row of this. That's for homework. Okay, so before we finish, there's some extra benefits that we want to mention. Firstly, Jim, Ha and Kha, the first form that we took, which represents Jim, Ha and Kha, you need to know that this form, it can be joined from the side, the way we took it, like from here. So the joining line can come from here, or it could be joined one on top of the other. So it's possible to write Jim, Ha and Kha like this. So we have, that's the first form, and then it goes, instead of going straight here, we go down. Join another Jim, and then go down. Join another Jim, and then finish off. So it's possible to do that. This is Jim, this is Ha, and this is Kha. طيب. And it's possible to do other letters. You could join other letters, like what we took last time. The huruf al-khamsa can come like this, and join like this if it was at the end, or if it's in the middle, you can continue writing. طيب. So Jim can either be joined from the side here, or it can be joined like this. The other point that I wanted to mention is that sometimes you might find that Jim, Ha and Kha is written like this, where this part is closed. You might find it that it's closed sometimes. Okay? If you find it closed like this, it's not a different letter, it's the same letter, but it's closed like this in the calligraphy style of an-nasakh when it's followed by alif or lam or kaf or dal or ha, this ha, when it comes at the end. So when it's followed by these letters, alif, kaf, lam, lam, alif, also lam, alif, the ha that comes at the end, or the dal, when it's followed by certain letters, this part is closed. Basically the letters that rise up. Yeah, when it's followed by these letters, this part is closed. Just bear that in mind, inshallah. Okay, don't think that it's a different letter. It's the same letter, but sometimes in the calligraphy style of nasakh, it's written in this way where it's closed, and you'll find this in the Quran. The final point that we want to mention is that with regards to the last two forms, the Sin and Sheen, and the Sad and Dad, the last two letter forms that we took, it's possible for the ending to have four different connections. There's four different ways of writing the end. So the one that we took, this is number one, is we do this, and then we leave it open like this. This is one. Yeah, so the letter that's going to join joins from here. This is the joining line. طيب, this is one. Second way is we do this, and then instead of going down, we just extend it from here. You might find it that it's extended from here, and this usually comes with Ra and Za, form number one. So this one, and it can also come with Noon also. So we could do Noon like this. You might find that it comes like this sometimes. Instead of joining from the bottom, it joins from here. This is number 3 or 2. Number 3 is sometimes you might find that the line looks like this. Just bear this in mind. This comes sometimes. Instead of coming like this, number 4, it can come as a pointed line. Pointy like this. Yeah, so bridge, or it can come at an angle like this. And this comes with 5 letters usually. These 5 letters are Jim, Ha, Kha, yani Jim, Ha, Kha, Ra, Za, Ha when it's in the middle. We're going to take this inshallah. Ha when it's in the middle. Mim, yeah. It's possible to put these into a word. Jurhumi acronym represents these letter forms. So if I was to do, for example, if I was to do ra, but not this ra, the other ra, the ra that comes like this. So sin and ra would look like this. Yeah, sin and then the ra that joins on. If I wanted to do the other ra, this ra, I use this form. So jim, for example, I could, these two come with these letters. So jim, for example, could do this. Okay. Ha, for example, I would use this form. I would use this form for ha. We'll take ha in the middle, inshallah. Ha in the middle comes like this. Yeah, so use this form. Mim, I would use this form. Yeah. Ya, I would use this form. طيب. So here, remember we said with ya, if ya comes like this, then this is usually a different letter. But that's not the case with sin and shin and sad also and dad. Sad and dad also, you have these same 4 options. So this is sin and ya. This is not extra letter. This is the ending of the sin. And these 4 forms come with sad also. So with sad, we mentioned we do this. And then we have to have this. This is the first form that we took previously, yeah? We have to have this. Sad can also come like this. Join from the top with ra and noon. Most of the time. And it can also come like this. Sad, if I was to join it to ya, it can also come like this, where it's pointy. If I join it with jim. The final point is that when sad comes like this or like this extending line is usually not written. When it comes with this extension here, the end here, this trailing line that we mentioned, it's usually there when it's at the beginning or the middle of the word, is not written. These are extra benefits to help you, inshallah, in your writing as well as your reading. And with this, we come to the end of today's lesson. سبحانك اللهم بحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.